If you don't control your anger will control you. Last week I finished Under the Dome by Stephen King, and to the surprise of no one who follows me, this is just another banger from this guy. It just seems like at this point Stephen King, I don't know. I don't know if he can write a bad book, at least in my opinion, because every time I read another one of his books, I'm always like, yeah, I actually really like that. And Under the Dome is no different. Uh, Let me pitch this one to you guys, though, because I feel like this one flies under the radar from most Stephen King fans. A lot of people don't talk about this one, and it surprises me because it's really, really good. So, picture this. Chester Mill is a small Maine town that is very, very ordinary, very, like conservative small town. Everybody gets along, everybody knows each other's business. And one day, for no reason at all, an invisible, indestructible dome is dropped on this little town. And what happens is exactly what you probably would expect to happen in a small, conservative little town. And it actually very quickly descends into anarchy, chaos, violence, isolationism, and tribalism. And what happens here in this novel is just a death spiral. Like, that is what this book is all about. It is Stephen King examining the rise of authoritarianism and the death spiral of a town. What happens when good people have to fight bad people, or when bad people rise up in power when they shouldn't have had it in the first place? And that's all what the Under the Dome is about. And what the way he does this is through a giant multi-point of view story. I think there's like 100 characters in here. I don't know if all of them are points of view, but there's a lot of named characters in this. There's lots of points of views, including, and I'm not even kidding, a dog, I think a chipmunk, or is it a woodchuck, something like that, a ghost, and a bunch of other characters. And it's like only Stephen King could write something like this. Not only does he take an incredibly absurd idea, the idea of having an indestructible dome dropped on your town, but he also writes from perspectives that are also just incredibly absurd, and he somehow just makes it all work. And I don't know how he does it, but like, again, this guy, he's just doing it different. And what I really like, there's a lot of things I really like about this story, but one of the things I really enjoy about this story is the character work. Stephen King, to the surprise of no one who's read him, very good at writing characters. He writes a lot of really great protagonists in this, from a teenage boy to a war veteran to like this like French foreign person to like a news reporter and everything in between. But honestly, where he really excels in this book for me personally is the villains, especially Big Jim Rainey, who is the second selectman of Chester Mill. Now, if you don't know what selectman is, it's like a junior politician. It's like the assistant to the mayor's office or something like that for us non-Maine or New England folk. And Big Jim, he is like Dick Cheney, Donald Trump, like, I don't know, George Bush combined together. Like all the like crazy sociopathic tendencies put into one fat, overweight politician. And he just steals the show. He just absolutely steals the show. He is one of the most despicable villains I've read in a long time. And that's really saying something, because I've read a lot of despicable villains, including Stephen King villains like Pennywise and Randall Flagg. But there's just something about this guy I especially hate. And every scene he is in, he is going to make you angry. He is going to make you absolutely just despise him. But he's so good. It's written incredibly well, and the rest of the villain cast is very well. His son is really great. The police force in here is really cool, and you're gonna be sickened by these villains. I'm just gonna say that. Like, just if you're gonna read this book, trigger warning. Another really great thing I like about this is the pacing. Stephen King, to me, always paces his books very, very well. I don't think I've ever read a book by him where I was like, yeah, that was a slog to get through. That was boring. But here, it feels like he was on the gas the entire time. The incident, the dropping in the dome, it happens within 2 chapters. It's like 30 seconds into the audiobook. It's super crazy fast. And from there, it is just a madhouse race. I mean, like, it is gas, no brakes. Every time you think you've hit the ultimate crescendo of violence, mayhem, and just human debauchery, Stephen King is like, all right, but I can ramp it up one more go. He just keeps cranking the dial, and I really, really appreciate that. He makes a very, very tense book, and this is like probably like 1,100 pages on paperback. It's like at least 900 on hardcover, and for a book that length to be able to keep that tension the entire time like a live wire is very, very impressive to me. So the pacing here is great. The story is also really great. There's this entire examination of authoritarians, of how these small town, big town, city, presidential authoritarians rise to power, how cult followings amass around them, how the average person is easily duped into these kind of, just crazy sociopathic people, and how you gotta resist that, how you actually try and fight against that. And I don't know, there's a lot going on here thematically that I found very, very interesting, especially for the time and place we are here in the United States. There's a lot of commentary on tribalism, on authoritarianism, on isolation. I think there's even some conversation to be had about religious tolerance or intolerance, and how religion is used by the tools of the state, etc. A lot of things I could get into, not for this review, but there's a lot here that Stephen King is grappling with that I found very, very compelling. So overall, I think Under the Dome is just another excellent entry by Stephen King. The characters are great, the pacing is great, the story is great. The characters, both good and bad, are really great. Although I will say, again, the villain here really, really stands out. If you're looking to read a book with a despicable villain, it is really, really great. I know some people complain about the ending of this one, but personally, I liked it. It's not my favorite Stephen King ending. But I also don't think it's actively bad like some people do. And I wanted a little bit more from the people who were in charge of why the dome happened. I wish we had been able to see that more. So I guess that would be my major drawback. But besides that, very, very good book. I think I'm going to give it an 8.7 out of 10, and I highly recommend it to any Stephen King fan who hasn't read it. But also to anyone who wants to get into Stephen King, I feel like this is a good entry point.